Let me get rid of him.
Frank Scalera and Christina.
Okay. Right now, okay, I'm sending you. There's usually a thing on the corner that says, start sending us your video from your streaming software to go live. I'm sending it. If you believe this is correct, ensure you're sending a stream that is configured with the correct stream key. God. Copy. Where do I put the friggin' stream key in? I can't find it. Oh, Joe, I don't know what's going on.
Oh well.
I don't understand it. It's
And I'm sure it's most impossible to get in contact with anybody at YouTube, just like it's impossible to get in contact with anybody at Facebook.
oh, now the stream is up. Okay, end stream. I don't know if you guys okay. Okay, they say they see video and they can hear me. Okay, it's working now. Okay, so we here. Okay, we're on the air. Oh my God, I don't know what I didn't do anything. I didn't change anything. I have no idea why after 4 days off, okay, this should even happen. I have no idea what's going on. Okay. All right. So you know what?
We're only
Let's
31 minutes late, Joe. No, no problem.
no problem. All right. So let's start the show like we would normally start it with me saying that I don't even know how to start this. Okay, today was the last day of winter. We've got no major storms around at the moment. And the only thing that's going on tonight, really, of consequence, is down by me because we've got freeze warnings up.
All right,
The
we got the circle of death again, unfortunately,
all right. Well, you know, it says live.
and
Okay.
it's still freezing at times too. I mean, mine is.
Video is laggy, says Patrick Darcy. I'm sorry. I don't know what the issue is. Um, but anyhow, um, they said there's some deep freezes happening. All right. Well, anyway, that's the story tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast, which is brought to you by Tempest by WeatherFlow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link is on the description to this live stream, if you can see it. And use the coupon code WINTER2324. If you do, you will get.
10% off. I hope they heard that.
Yes, now Tom says it's back on again. Again, I honestly do not know. My suspicion is that this is a YouTube issue. Okay, and because now things are starting to come back. I just noticed that my stream is actually now showing live on my software. So I don't know. Oh, and we're back live on the screen now, but it is a little choppy. I can see what you're saying. We can have a trunk version anyway, Craig Carlberg. We'll do a truncated version. Uh, Welcome, Mr. Rayo. Welcome to everybody on the chat board to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. First thing I'm going to do is reverse myself and put myself on the left, and Joe is on the right. We're on. Well, this week is no point saying that we're on Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 because we weren't on yesterday. We're barely on now. Tomorrow night we will start at 8 o'clock. Wednesday, I will be soloing at 7:30, and Thursday, Joe will be back at 8 o'clock. Did I get that all correct, Mr. Rayo?
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So I had a very, very nice vacation, 4 days. I went to Pensacola. You might be tempted to call it Pepsi Cola, but what wasn't exactly, it was kind of cloudy much of the time except for Saturday. Saturday was the one day that was good. I went. If you ever go to Pensacola, Joe, make it a point to go to the Pensacola Naval Air Station. There, they have the uh, National Aviation Naval Aviation Museum, and it's just a very it's so interesting and so amazing. They've got planes that go back to World War I, World War II, all the other Korean War, the Vietnam War, all the other wars, and it was just an amazing experience. And there was that. And the other thing I got to do was that on my way home, I stopped at a new Bucky's. This one was on Interstate 85 in Alabama, and I bought a Bucky's bathing suit for my granddaughter. It's got all the little beavers on it. And I bought myself a Bucky's bathing suit because I needed a new bathing suit.
Mental pictures are suddenly coming.
No, no, we don't have to go down that. Would you like to see the bathing suit?
Sure.
All right,
Why
hold
don't
on. I gotta hold on. I gotta get it. Put it away. Oh, here it is. Actually, I think it's a really nice bathing suit. I needed a new one. So this is my new Bucky's bathing suit. And right there in the hashtag Bucky's, Bucees. There it is. I mean, it's kind of nice.
yes, I'm not gonna now what is that there? Is that that's a beaver, right?
It's a beaver, yeah,
Bucky's beaver.
a Bucky's beaver. And I picked up at the bakery. I bought some freshly made oatmeal raisin cookies and some chocolate chip cookies that I gave to my neighbor. So I felt like I really got things accomplished, which was nice.
Now Pensacola is how far from Tallahassee?
Um, it's southwest of Tallahassee.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's God, I'm just guessing off the top of my head. It's got to be at least an hour drive, maybe an hour and a half.
Okay.
And it was 7 hours from me, 5 hours from Atlanta. So it went well. Oh, I'm sorry. Just having this technical stuff going on really sort of throws me off.
Yeah, I know. It can be very frustrating. I still have that problem with I don't know if I mentioned it on Facebook on you on our show last week, but the past week or 10 days now, um, I'm having problems in posting not photographs or images or URLs, but if I try to post something like a message, it says that it is I've even forgot now because I haven't tried it for so long that they were processing it and that they'll let me know when the message will go up, and that's been like the better part of 2 weeks now, and I can't find anybody at you know who can help me at Facebook. My professional page with the check mark still works.
Right.
Fingers crossed on that. But the personal page is so. What I've been doing, Joe, is I've been posting stuff on my professional page, and then I simply go to the URL and just send it over that way to my
That way. Well,
my.
you're not alone because there are a lot of there are a lot of people that that can't access their pages. I know a bunch of people, so you're not alone. And you know it's just weird. Meanwhile, the Atlanta post office is having such a huge computer problem that nobody in anywhere in the northern half of Georgia, everybody in Georgia is having problems with the mail delivery. I haven't gotten any mail. I've gotten maybe two pieces of mail in the last 3 weeks.
Oh my God!
Yeah, there's some big computer glitch down there that they can't seem to to fix. People have mailed. We were talking amongst friends today and how they mailed out checks to pay bills, and like 2 weeks ago the checks have never gotten there. So there's all sorts of commotion. Anyway, first
I would
world problems, I guess.
I would complain to Sam Drucker about that.
Well, yes, if we only had Sam Drucker, then I know we would get the mail. All right, let's get some weather done, shall we?
Surely,
Okay, so let's go to the National Weather Service watches and warnings map, which, other than the uh, avalanche warnings in northwestern Montana and northernmost Idaho, and the freeze warnings that are up across the south, it's pretty much a very quiet day across the United States. Although it is cold here, it's 36. I didn't even get out of. I barely did not get out of the 40s today here, and there's been a very gusty 20 to 30 mile an hour wind, which continues this evening. And now you have, of course, where you are in much of the Northeast. I was looking at the looking at the maps today, Joe. It's going to be breezy every day, at least into Thursday.
I agree. I agree. My Facebook forecast, which I posted a little while ago. Um, yes, I know Robert Matthew Palasco. I went back on Facebook to get to my forecast, and the link to this show is up. And Robert Matthew Palasco, it's not working.
Wait, the link on Facebook is not working? Well, no,
I
that's
guess,
because he's got the old link.
yeah, yeah. So, oh well. I said tomorrow, unseasonably brisk and cold, west winds 10 to 15, gusts to 25. Wednesday, becoming breezy, west 10 to 20, gusts to 30. Blustery is how I define Thursday. There may be some slight uh, diminishing of the wind on Friday, and then back we go to blustery winds. I said on Saturday, scattered showers, maybe mixed with wet snow, especially north and west of 84, and becoming windy, and still windy on Palm Sunday. So you're right. The wind is going to be a very noticeable factor over the next several days, going right on into the weekend.
Yeah, I'm starting to. My initial view on Saturday was I was being cautious as I kind of thought that maybe this low will get suppressed in the south, and that still may happen. But I was looking at some of the stuff mid and late afternoon. A few of the models are starting to kind of look a little more like the GFS, which wants to bring a fairly wrapped up surface low up the coast, uh, which would mean for a more substantial rainfall. And I think WPC's kind of gone down that road too. We'll get to that in a second. But you can see with respect to the wind on the surface map, you have lower pressures to the east. I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, there's a deep low in the Bay of Fundy, or is the Bay of Fundy, um, in the 990s, and there's a high sitting in Kansas that's almost 1030, and you got a fair number of isobars between the two, and they're not really tight, but they're tight enough that you're going to have winds of 10 to 20, 15 to 25, with gusts to about 25 or 30, until either the high gets off near the coast or the low pulls away to the northeast. And as you said, it's going to take a while. As we've been saying, it's going to take a while. Meanwhile, it's pretty calm out in the west, with WPC's having a field day analyzing highs and lows on every street corner. from the Rockies to the West Coast. So you have that. And when we look at the satellite loop, there's really not a whole lot going on. You've got this upper trough that's moving through the Great Lakes, and there's more cloudiness to the northwest. And some of that cloud cover is actually coming in tonight. Uh, the plains are nice. Most of the south is nice. There's some subtropical moisture moving across the Gulf of Mexico. We have a couple of scattered storms, or did have a couple of scattered storms in the over central Florida. Those have seemed to have weakened now. There's some scattered storms out to the east in the Atlantic and a few scattered storms in the Gulf of Mexico. And the West Coast is nice and quiet. Radar showing activity in upstate New York, getting some lake effect snow coming in off of Lake Erie and Lake Ontario into north central New York. Also seeing some snow in western Vermont and up north on the Canada side there. A little bit of light snow shower activity up in Maine, some scattered precip aloft in the Appalachians, and that's about it there. We've got some rain showers in the southwest and in Southern California, scattered around, but the rest of the West is quiet. And of course, you see this little area in Florida that really isn't doing all that much. WPC, now here's where we got, a bit of a change here, Joe. Now they're going a half to three, a half an inch, the back edge of a half an inch now from about Portland, Maine, central Mass, northwest Connecticut to just north and west of New York City, quarter of an inch for you. And then going southwest into southeast Virginia, that's double what they had on the morning forecast. So it's kind of trying to pivot here, I think, with regards to Saturday. And the 7-day totals here are a half to three quarters from Maine down all the way into South Carolina. There's up to a few inches in coastal North Carolina with this low that that's coming up. And we've got three-quarters of an inch to an inch and a half plus up and down the Mississippi and Missouri River valleys. And we've got several inches or more in the usual suspect areas in the Pacific Northwest, as well as up in the northern Rockies. It's kind of I'll wait to see what the overnight models are doing, but I got a feeling tomorrow I'm probably going to have to beef up for maybe a steadier rain on Saturday.
It's possible. I look at the European, and the European has a good bulk of that missing us on Saturday,
Yes, I did see that.
and meanwhile, the artificial intelligence European wants to bomb us with heavy duty rain or heavy duty precipitation for someday, maybe 100 years from now, we'll have what we call the universal weather model. That'll be the only model that everybody looks at because there's just too many darn models giving their own, summation and solution as to what's going to happen on any specific day beyond 5 days down the road. You just don't know sometimes.
No, there will be no shortage of additional models coming in the next couple of years. That's my feeling with AI. We're going to see all sorts of variations. It's only going to make things
More confusing.
more confusing and um, more hyped, because now you're going to have more products to choose from to suit your agenda as far as your forecast is concerned. So it'll be very easy to find a snowstorm come next winter with more AI models running around. You watch. You'll be able to cherry pick any snowstorm you want on any given day, and they'll be posted all over the place on social media.
Absolutely.
All
Well,
right,
maybe.
yeah, that's just the way the
Yeah.
world. That's the world we live in, unfortunately.
So what?
W. Go ahead.
What
I'm
else?
sorry.
No, I said what else is new?
Right. WPC's got high probabilities for up to a couple of inches with this lake effect going on in southwestern New York, as well as north central New York, and then on up through Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and up into central and north. Actually, the northern half of Maine is 50% or higher for at least two. Just for laughs, I'll put up the probability for at least four, and they actually have an area of 50 to 100% probability up in central and north central New York and up into northeastern New York. and let's put up the probability of at least 8. And they even have a small area in north central New York where there's a 50 to 60% chance for it. Actually, no, that's a 70 to 80% chance for at least 8 in that small little blue circle. Back to 2, and you'll see it extends back across northern Michigan, both the upper peninsula and the lower peninsula. And then you've got this finger that runs from westward through North Dakota and on up into northeastern Montana, and that not much in the Cascades or in the Sierra Nevadas, at least through Thursday, although that might show up over in the long range. Now, here's the issue. Here's the issue for Saturday, and I think Joe, what it really boils down to, first off, this upper low that you see in the southwest, and I rolled it back to Friday. This was the system that came down into the central Rockies and brought snows, the heavy snows that we were talking about last Wednesday for this central Colorado and areas to the north and south of that into Wyoming and New Mexico, and that actually verified. But that upper low wound up dropping southwestward. So all that we got to see here in the east was the passage of a cold front. Well, that energy's sitting there. Here's the trough responsible for this, the front and the colder air that's coming to the east. That upper low is still sitting there and sitting there, but finally gets ejected out on Wednesday. And as it moves eastward, you've got another short wave that's coming down in the northern stream. So I think it's a question of, does that northern stream shortwave come in and it doesn't quite phase, but it's trying. So does it phase and then move along, or does it suppress? I think that to me is what the battle is here. And I was kind of going with the idea, kind of where you were with this, with just talking about maybe some scattered precip on Saturday and going for more of a suppressed look. Uh, this one, I think this particular run makes it a bit of a closer call. And I guess we could look at the European AI upper air. It actually has a bit more of a defined southern stream system here that moves along. So, I mean, I don't know how much, yeah, again, um, does it or doesn't it? I don't know. And we'll give it another day to sort of sort itself out. But in the mostly quiet across the country. You can see the gradient there actually gets reinforced a bit because we've got another cold front that comes through on Wednesday with maybe a rain shower and maybe a snow shower or two well inland. The lake effect machine gets turned on again Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. Uh, Gradient finally relaxes a bit on Friday. Now here comes this, that southern energy. Here comes that Gulf low that moves uh, it's off the southeast coast and then rides up the coast uh, Saturday morning into the afternoon and leaves us with a drier and somewhat chilly Sunday, I guess. Uh,
Palm Sunday.
Palm Sunday. Palm Sunday, I always have memories of Palm Sunday as being sort of a blustery kind of day, blustery and cold and usually dry for some reason. They always seem to come out that way. And going into the long range, I mean, this troughing in the east might be short lived. And next week, there looks like there's a bit of a vigorous system that heads to the Western Lakes and then something else toward the East Coast later in the week. But, if you're sitting there looking for another shot for snow, it ain't coming as far as I'm concerned, except, of course, at the end of the forecast period, Joe. When is the solar eclipse? The 4th?
April the 8th.
Oh, the 8th. Okay. So if the 384-hour shows accumulating snow over New Jersey and southern New England and southern New York with a low in eastern Kentucky, that's April 3rd. So, and not April the 8th. So you're
I,
still
I
you're still safe.
I will tell you this. I've been looking at the GFS ensemble, which goes out like to 800 and some odd hours,
Right.
which does take into account April the 8th. And what is interesting to me is that after about the 2nd or 3rd of April, the winds in the upper atmosphere are coming out of a northwest direction, and there appears to be some kind of a bulge, some kind of a high pressure uh, upper air high pressure system trying to develop over the western United States. And I'm wondering whether or not we may actually catch a break for the eclipse. That we might have something pass by around the second or third, and the next thing may hold off until like the 10th, and somewhere in between there's maybe high pressure trying to build down from eastern Canada. I'm not sure, but I will say that I look and another thing that I looked at was the experimental 3 to 4 week probability
Right.
prog, which comes out on Fridays. And, you know, previous to this past Friday, the eastern United States was awash in green. And you say to yourself, oh my God, looking at all this wet weather. And indeed, it does look like it's going to be more rainy or showery or more precipitation in the next week or two than anything else. But then it seems to sweep on out and dry things out. Now, admittedly, on last Friday's map, we're in a large zone in the Great Lakes, Ohio Valley, Northeast of equal chances, but we're in like white as opposed to green. So I don't know whether or not it's going to try as we move into the new month of April that things are going to try to dry out for a little bit early in the month. And if it does, that's, at least it's with guarded optimism. We say hopefully that'll work out for those who want to see the eclipse.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed on that.
Yeah, right now it's, I never look at the 0 hour GFS ensemble,
Right.
but now for the heck, looking at it, it's like up to 420 hours, and
Yeah, you got a ways to go. You're
got a
not
ways,
quite to the eighth yet. You know.
not quite, but it's I'm up to April the 4th, Thursday, April the 4th. So whatever happens on April the 4th, I will have made plans, definitive plans for wherever I'm going for the event. So we'll see.
All right. Do you have Briller Jeopardy?
Do I have Briller Jeopardy?
Do you have Briller Jeopardy?
I think I do. Hang on. Do, 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 do. Scott Briller. Yes, I do. I do have Briller Jeopardy.
Excellent. So
Are
let's
you
have
ready?
it. I'm
Are
ready.
we set? Here we go. On this Briller Jeopardy, there have been only 4 snowstorms of at least 12 inches at Central Park in the month of March. How many can you name?
Okay. Well, there's the Ash Wednesday storm of 1962.
And you are wrong, Bison Breath.
Well, the Ash Wednesday storm was not in March. March.
It was March 7th, but it was not a storm that produced 12 inches of snow at Central Park.
Oh, okay. So there's that.
Well, why don't you pick
Uh,
the easiest one?
what's that?
Pick the easiest one in March with
What, the
12
the
inches.
1993?
Well, no. The superstorm of March 1993, according to the chairman, produced only, he says,
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it got to 12. What do they have? 10?
10.6.
10.6. All right. It goes to show that there haven't been that many if I can't remember them. Did I live through any of them?
Uh, yes, you
I
did.
mean, for Long Island, it's different because I know for Long Island, we've had actually have had a fair number in the last 20 years. Uh, so
But when I say the easiest one, Joe, I mean, what March snowstorm at Central Park dropped 12 inches or more of snow?
I don't I'm drawing a blank.
You're drawing a blank.
I'm drawing a blank. I have no idea.
You don't remember the storm that, well, you obviously were not here, but historically, 136 years ago,
Oh, the blizzard of '88.
the blizzard of 88. Yeah,
All right. Of 1888.
yes.
Okay. All right. Yes. All right. There's that one. How many are left now?
Three more. Three
Three
more.
more. Three more.
Right. And yes,
Um,
and yes, you were here for one of those three.
I was here for one of those three.
Yes.
Really?
On this earth for one. And so was I, actually.
Oh. I honestly, Joe, I'm drawing a complete blank. Brandon Grablichov says 1888, 1944, and 1941.
Well, nothing, no, no
And
mention.
now he's added 1960 and 1914.
Okay, 19. Well, there you go. Then he got all
March
the.
of 1960. Okay, because that was part of the trifecta that year. There were three of them.
There
There were
were.
well, there were three. The one in January was 9.9. Okay, on the car
You think?
top.
Wait a minute. Are you thinking of 6061?
6061. Yeah,
Right. This was March of 1960.
right. Well, March of 1960.
Right.
Well, there was one in 61. It was December, January, and February, if I recall.
Well,
Anyway,
December 60. My wife was born just a couple of weeks after that. She sometimes makes reference to that. Her mother looking out the window and saying, "Oh, I hope this doesn't happen again when I give birth or whatever." But it was 2 weeks later. Then, of course, there was the Kennedy storm in January of '61, and then the biggest of them all was the February '61 storm, which dropped something like 22 or 24 inches.
right. Don Colgan says March in 67.
Well, there was one in March of '67, but I don't think it dropped 12 inches. I think it came short. I think like 9 or 10 inches in '67. March 22nd, 1967.
Was this one that I lived through? Was that somewhere in the 2000s?
No, the one that you lived through was March of '60.
Oh, 60. Okay. I was
14.4.
I was all of a year old.
Yes.
All right.
Uh,
Um,
the other two, which is one I think that Mr. Grablichov got, was March 1st and 2nd, 1914, 14.5 inches, and 1941, March 7th and 8th, 18.1 inches. 18.1 on March 7th and 8th, 1941.
okay. So those were the four.
Yeah. Now, Tom Contino, I can't speak for Joe. How do these two remember things from the 1960s? I remember quite a bit from the 1960s. I lived in Harlem. So did Joe, actually, in the early '60s, where I lived. And I'm a few years older than Joe. Where I lived, the apartment building, there was a skylight. So I remember walking up the steps up to my apartment, and most days during the daytime, the skylight was wide open and clear and bright and sunny, and you could see. But on those rare occasions when we had heavy snow, I remember a couple of occasions when I was very, very young. The skylight was covered with snow and it was dark. And like I was really like frightened, going up those stairs. I couldn't see anything um, back in those days. But anyway, um, so that's it. That was the
That's
question.
it. All right. It's been a stressful evening for the first day back.
Well, yeah.
All right, so hopefully we will not have the same issues tomorrow night. I will test this during the day tomorrow to make sure everything is okay. So we're going to wrap it up because I'm tired. The Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast is brought to you by Tempest by Weatherflow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system. Join the fastest growing observing weather network on the planet. The link is on the description to this podcast. Use the coupon code winter2324 and you will, if you do, you will get.
You'll get, and this time I think people can hear me, 10% off.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night start time is at 8 o'clock. Wednesday I'm soloing at 7:30, and Thursday Joe's back and we'll be on at 8 o'clock again. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Nighty night.
Just quickly, if you're wondering
Quickly.
why Joe is soloing, I'm giving a talk for a library in Dallas, Texas, which is the in the path of the total eclipse. The talk begins 6:30 Dallas time, 7:30 our time. I won't be done until like 8:45 or 8:50. So that's why, rather than start at 9 o'clock on Wednesday, Joe is doing going solo on Wednesday evening.
Right, and being down in Pensacola, by the way, I had to endure a time change, so because they're in Central Time
Oh,
in that part of Florida, so
lovely.
I was able to look at models at the old Eastern Standard Time, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
Okay, All right, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock.